Eric, John, welcome.
All right, Ryan, thank you for having me here.
So, in a world of consolidation and big companies, how did you, a bunch of ragtag entrepreneurs, develop this unique team ethos?
You know, most of us started as entrepreneur in our own country. And when you're an entrepreneur in your own country, entrepreneur mindset, you do the best you can. So when we formed the network basically between the transport group, the KCDA group, and the lane, individually, we are the best in each country. And we take that, we respect the customer, we are passionate about our business, and we build a name. And today, I would say in the whole of Asia, you can categorize any other moving company. There are no moving companies that are in the same category of the Asian Tiger Family Network was because we all own assets in our own country. We all have our own packers, our own workers that work for us. My oldest employee, for example, in KC that is she's probably 55 years old in the company. I spent 50 years in the company, and John, what,
My second time round is at least 30 years.
30 years in a company. So, we have that continuity. And because we are a family owned business today, it is the employee that plays the part in building this company. And we share that knowledge with them because I am a salesman. I'll sell anything. But you ask me a question, who packed the shipment? It is basically the guy who walked into the house that packed the goods. So we are pretty proud of where we are today.
For us, is what was done in the past, we learn from it. But what is more important is how do we prepare ourselves for the future? And that is by making sure that the staff and the employees that stays with us has a strong sense of belonging.
How do you approach technology in the moving industry?
You know, whether you like it or not, the world has changed today. When we started the business way back in 75, we don't have such thing as mobile phone. We don't have such thing as internet. We don't have computers. Everything was done manually, literally. And as the world progressed, we adapt to technology, and there is no way out. You can't change that. And the adaptation of technology enhance our business. It help us to manage the business and responsive to client requirement. And it's just you have no choice. You have to live, you have to adapt, you have to change accordingly, and that's what we adapt basically.
Where's the moving industry going to be in the near future?
The business that we're involved in is very unique. This is really one of those business whereby you actually allow a bunch of strangers to go into your house, not just your house, go into your bedroom, not just your bedroom, to open up the cupboard, to pull open the drawers and see everything you have. Now, as a customer, you don't know this bunch of strangers. And we don't stop here at origin. At destination, we send another bunch of strangers into the house to do the reverse. So how are you going to entrust your house move to this group of strangers? You only have one choice, and that is to pick the right company. And by picking the right company, assuming it is Asian Tiger, the onus is on us to make sure that the crew that we send to your house, no doubt they're strangers to you, but at the same time, they're mindful that this is a home that is private to your family, and that is the part whereby technology can never replace.
It might be a picture on a wall of your kids. It means nothing to another family. But as a mover, our responsibility is to make sure that it arrives from this house to another destination.
At the end of the day, we really need to strike a balance between using technology to enhance, technology to adapt, technology to make us more productive.
I think the industry has changed dramatically in as far as I can remember, 50 years ago till today. And we just have to adapt and live with the changes. Because if you don't change in your life, even in your personal life, here we're talking about business, changes happens every day. And if you don't accept and adapt the changes is going to pass you and you will be left behind. So we are very versatile as a company, as a human being, that we adapt to changes, we accept it. And along the way, you have your ups and downs, but you make it at the end of the day.
Thank you both, gentlemen.